U.S. existing home sales tumbling to the lowest level in more than 2 years in January as falling inventory raises house prices. Joining us for insight is house market analyst Jeff Ostrowski from Bankrate. Good to have you with us this morning, Jeff. Let's start with what this latest report means for home prices.
Okay, great. Thank you.
What do you think it means for home prices to start with?
Well, the home prices keep going up, which is really fascinating. So that there's been this thought that there's an affordability squeeze, that buyers just can't figure out how to buy in this market. But home prices keep going up, and that pace of appreciation has slowed. So during the pandemic, they were shooting up. Now home prices are just going up gradually. But yes, it seems like home prices are going to either keep going up slightly, flatten out a bit. I should add that there are definitely regional differences. So Florida, Texas, Arizona have seen prices falling, and then markets in the Northeast and the Midwest are seeing prices still increasing pretty strongly.
And what's driving this kind of sluggishness in the housing market?
Well, it's a variety of factors. So one thing is that because prices are at record highs, they've really stretched the bounds of affordability. A lot of first-time buyers just can't afford a house right now, and so they're just not even trying. They're renting. A lot of young adults are on the sidelines of the housing market. So the median age of first-time buyers is up to 40. So a lot of people in their 30s are just remaining as renters. And then the other thing is the mortgage lock-in effect. So during the pandemic, mortgage rates plunged to 3%. Homeowners refinanced, they locked in those super low mortgage rates. And most Americans who own homes are, maybe they would be ready to move under normal circumstances, but they're looking at that 3% mortgage rate that they've got, and they're looking at mortgage rates today over 6%, and they're saying, I don't want to move, I'm just going to stay here for the foreseeable future.
And what's your advice then, if you mentioned that the housing market does differ across the country, for folks who may be looking to make the most of what they've got, for those renters who are still out there and perhaps ready to buy?
If you're looking in one of those formerly hot Sunbelt markets, Florida, Texas, Arizona, you really have a lot of leverage. You have some power in the market, which was not the case 3 and 4 years ago. So the bidding wars are gone. That situation where as soon as a house came on the market, you had to put in an offer. That's not the case anymore. So in those slowing markets, you actually have some time to look at places, to some room to bargain. You don't have to waive inspections. So it's definitely a better time in those markets. But if you're looking in New York or Chicago or even Buffalo, Pittsburgh, those markets are still seeing prices go up. And so it's the advice really kind of depends on what part of the country you're shopping for a home in.
And of course, we're expecting some changes in leadership at the Fed. Do you think that's going to impact mortgage rates at all?
Probably not. So the Federal Reserve does not directly dictate mortgage rates. The Fed does set the tone overall for mortgage rates, but it's not dictating mortgage rates. And I think the best illustration of that came a little over a year ago when the Fed actually cut rates by a point and mortgage rates went up by a full point. So the mortgage market zigged while the Fed was zagging. And it seems like we're in that situation where Fed policy isn't really driving mortgage rates. So it's hard to see that a new Fed chairman is going to really directly affect mortgage rates.
So just with our last 30 seconds, what do you think will happen with mortgage rates, and what's your advice for people overall who may be ready right now to buy or wanting to buy?
So the consensus is mortgage rates are going to stay at this level at just above 6%. So according to Bankrate's latest national weekly survey of lenders, mortgage rates are at their lowest level since September of 2022. So they're definitely down a bit, to 6.16% according to our survey. So they're unlikely to go much lower than this. And I would say if you're a buyer, don't focus too much on mortgage rates. Like don't try to time the mortgage market. I would base it on your readiness and your willingness to buy. If you're financially prepared, if you're going to be in this home for a few years, I would say focus on that rather than on what the mortgage rate is.
Great to have your insights this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, Jeff Ostrowski.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.